right, there you go, Chazz. That's our new introduction. How you like it?
That was pretty quick, real quick.
Yeah, we don't be playing around. We got to get in and get out because what we're dealing with today is we're dealing with a subject matter that has to be discussed. And I'm going to put it right across the bottom. And it says we're talking about true self-love and its demonstration. This is part 2. In part 1, we talked about true self-love. But now we're going to talk about when a person has true self-love, how is it shown? How was it demonstrated? And so this should be a very, very interesting topic tonight. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I would say I have to give you credit. I don't know if people saw your broadcast yesterday with you and Brother Kevin. So you working in overtime today. I hope you're going to have enough energy to finish this one off. But this is going to be a good one. Self-love, good topics about how to promote it. And it's always a good thing talking about self-love. I agree.
Okay, well, let's take it from the top. And what do we mean when we say when a person demonstrates self-love? How does that look? What does it say here?
The demonstration of self-love is a life that shows its love by sharing their love with those they come in contact with, meaning being courteous, being nice. If you have the extra cash, giving people extra cash if you have it, welcoming them into your home, things like that. And especially, I think the most important part with self-love is how you treat others, especially when we're having a terrible day or a day that's not doing too well. Even in that midst, still being able to, show joy and treat others the way you would want to be treated. To me, that's a big part of it, because when we have a bad day, we tend to lash out against others.
And I think that's so true, because many times we talk about loving one another, but we never demonstrate it. And self-love is not always internal. It's not just us loving ourselves, but yet being mean-spirited to everyone else. So we have to look at when a person really loves themselves, it will be demonstrated. And this is why we're having these different just messages come up on the screen, because first we're going to talk about what self-love and self-love demonstration is not. Then we'll talk about what it is. So let's first of all talk about what self-love demonstration is not, because a lot of us don't understand what self-love is. Now, this is what we think it is. What do you say?
Having a so-called job, finding a mate, living at large, chasing after opulence and wealth, being popular. Absolutely. These things, now, let's be honest. There's nothing wrong with having these things, but I think we misconstrue it to where if we have these things that's on the screen, we think that makes us better. That thinks that we're better than the Joneses, and people have to kiss up to our behinds and stuff like that. And these things, once again, that's on our screen, there's nothing wrong with it, but we put too much emphasis and put too much stock on this stuff, and that's where the problems start to come in at. So, yeah, I totally agree with all these adjectives that's on the screen.
Yeah, and because when you look at it, when you ask a person, do you love yourself? They'll say yes, and then you'll say, well, how do you know that? They'll say, I got a good job. Okay, that's not the whole, that's not everything you see. Or they say, hey, you should see my chick. She is so fine, but that doesn't mean that you love yourself. Many people have jobs and mates, and they still hate themselves. When they live large, they say, well, I'm living large. And we often think that when a person has things that they really love themselves, but a lot of times, Chazz, that has nothing to do with them loving themselves. That's just them accumulating things.
Right.
They're chasing after opulence and wealth, and they want to be popular. They want to be seen. And that has nothing to do with them loving themselves.
Yeah, and I was just going to add real quick, some of those people, not all, but some of them that have all these material goods, like a nice house and a fancy car, helicopters and all that, that could be them trying to cover up for something that they're having on the inside, which could be depression, low self-esteem. So just because a person accumulates those things, like you said, does not mean that they love themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
The following mindset has crippled so many of us. You only live once, so grab all the gusto that you can. I totally agree with this. And the people in my age group and the teenagers, a lot of young teens have killed themselves over this because they're living this crazy lifestyle. They're driving fast in these cars. They're doing dangerous things, jumping off of things, trying to have some kind of spunk to their lives. And I agree. We do live once. But living once does not mean to act a fool. Living once does not mean to just do dangerous and just crazy things. I totally disagree with this, and I'll pass it to you. I just really think that whole thing, you only live once, makes a person live more dangerously than what they really should.
Well, see, Chaz, I look at it in a different light, and I know what you mean when you say that you only live once. You're talking about the culmination of life, which I get, but this is a big lie right here. It says that you only live once. No, you live every day. See, you live every day. So you live however old a person is, that's every day that you live. So we don't just look at life, and we shouldn't look at life as just one big ball of wax, because life isn't like that. Life is from your childhood to your adulthood, and each day you live is a day. So you do live more than once. You live every day. But I know we've been told that you only live once when they talk about a culmination of life. And that's why we got to go back to say a lot of people don't love themselves because they're not demonstrating that. And I really feel sorry for many of us, because as a people, when you think about it, we have this philosophy that you just talked about. And that philosophy is terrible because it never gets to the point of, how do I demonstrate the love that I have?
Healthy ways that true self-love is demonstrated. I have one. Oh, okay. Setting healthy boundaries, saying no to things that drain you or harm your well-being. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with saying no sometimes, especially when you're tired or you just can't make it. You've been working a lot of hours, or you just been busy. There's nothing wrong with that. But see, the thing is, when we say no to some people, they take that as we're being funny. We think we're better. We think we're better than them. And it's not that. And I was going to add to that because I had that on my paper. I would say practicing compassion, practicing mindfulness. And of course, it's on the screen, setting healthy boundaries. These are all things I think you can add to each other.
Yeah, that's true. And I agree with that 100%. But, we have to say no to things that drain us, because a lot of times those things that drain us, we like those things. See, we like staying up all night. We like doing certain things. And so we don't realize, but those things that we like, many times it drains us. Even people drain us sometimes, Chaz. Sometimes people they can wear us out. They can wear us down. And they harm our well-being. And this is why we're trying to always find peace. That's the saying now. It's peace, it's Shem Hotep, it's Shalom, it's Assalamu Alaikum. It's all these words, that mean something that we should be demonstrating, because we are loving ourselves and we're making sure that this love is being exposed to the world.
Absolutely. Letter B. Take care of yourself, especially our mind. Sometimes decluttering the mind. When I say that, is some of the things that we watch, some of the things that we're reading. Stop reading so much of it. Pull back on it a little bit. Like for the spiritual people, I would say, like you said, no, and it's not to step on their toes, reading their Bibles, like you said, the African spirituality, whatever. These are things that help our mind, and especially reading, because a lot of people now, I'm starting to hear that they're getting dementia, they're getting Alzheimer's, and some of these things. So I think it's important that we kind of watch, of course, with what we eat, because some of these things are playing a big part on the demise of our minds.
Yeah, and when you love yourself, and when I love myself, we demonstrate that by taking care of ourselves. In other words, we take care of our mind. And see, I'm at the point now, Chaz, where I'm not going to allow any garbage into my mind. Now, some of it you can't help because it's going to sneak in, whether it's in a song that you didn't know they were going to say it, whether it was on TV. But a lot of this garbage that we allow, that we don't take care of our minds, we go to places where they screw our minds up. And we like this because we are not loving ourselves and we're not demonstrating ourselves. And I think that needs to be really said. It really does.
Absolutely. We got a comment. Sister Mashonda fires in here. She says hello. We appreciate her. Brother Ray's in the building. He says Black Power. We appreciate him. And Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, right, every day you are different from the day before. Yeah. Sister Mashonda fires back in here. She says, yep, you got to know when to get rest. Okay.
Yeah. So, Chaz, I'm saying, when we often say that I love myself, but we don't demonstrate that, because when we demonstrate it, we're going to do the things that we're talking about. We're going to take care of ourselves, not just physically. We're going to take care of our minds. We're going to take care of those children that's in our family. We're going to take care of our bodies. We're going to take care of all of that. But unfortunately, we don't really know what true love is. And therefore, it's hard to demonstrate it, because I've often heard people say how much they love whatever, but I never see that love being displayed, in their lives where other people can benefit from it.
Absolutely. Moving on to letter C, celebrating your achievements, even the small ones. Yeah, and they're not always, you don't always have to, plaster it on social media or plaster it on your YouTube page or things like that. You can celebrate it small. And listen, and this is not no knock to them. You can celebrate these things without liquor, without ecstasy, without these pills, none of this stuff. You can celebrate at home, but say, you know what? For example, I finally got my driver's license. I feel good. I finally got that class knocked out. And now I can, get me some cake, get me some ice cream at home. But see, we got the wrong interpretation of celebrating. We think that means going out to the bar, going out to the club, getting sloppy drunk, coming home staggering. And that's not what a celebrating is about. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree with you 100%. In fact, the reason why I'm snickering so is because maybe we should do a broadcast on what celebration really is. Because
right.
In Africa and in Asia and other cultures, sometimes when they celebrate it, they sat around and talk like you and I are talking, and they talked about an occasion, or they talked about something very significant. And so therefore they looked at that as something that was great. But in our culture, we don't celebrate the way we should, because we've been duped in the mind to believe that, as you just said, celebration always involves dope. It always involves loud music. And we've been taught that. And so I'm saying that if this is how we are, then that means that we don't really demonstrate self-love. Who loves themselves and then poisons themselves? Who loves themselves and then kills themselves? See, that doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, have to learn how to be your tried, tested, and proven best ally. So are their own worst enemy and cause themselves so much pain and mental anguish.
Yeah. And I say that's a person who doesn't love themselves. See, we're talking about, and I'm agreeing with him, because when you love yourself, you're not going to always be in anguish every day. You're not going to always be stressed. You're not going to always be worried. See, when you love yourself, you're going to release from that, and you're going to be in control of your life. You're going to be the hero of your life. See, you're not going to be looking for a hero. You are the hero. See, and this is why we talk about true self-love is when we demonstrate it, like you mentioned about the small achievements or whatever. We never say anything positive about our own selves, because again, we want the home run. We don't want to get on base. We want the whole home run so we can go around all the bases and people can holler and clap at us while we're running, and we're fronting as we're running. So this shows that true self-love is not demonstrated in our culture the way we should be doing it.
Right. Moving on to letter D, encouraging others around you. And that's a good thing that I think we all need to put in practice. Like you said, when we have children or spouses or whatever, telling them good things like, you know what? You did a good job. And it's not always, like I said, the big things. It can be something as small as, I don't know, them cleaning up, or just something that's small, letting them know that they're appreciated, encouraging them. Like I said, the world is already beating us down as it is. And the little things like encouragement to others around us, that is something that I even noticed. So we have this little joke, because I did this at the gym the other day. This guy was looking sad, and I noticed he always comes in, and I noticed, I see you got your little haircut. This dude lit up like a Christmas tree. He said, yeah, I went and got it. So, I mean, these things, and that encouraged him. He started talking about it. So that's something that we gotta do.
And see, when we keep things in context, Chazz, when we keep things in context, we look at true self-love is demonstrated by encouraging others around you. That makes a lot of sense. When I love myself, I'm going to encourage other people, because I don't have room for jealousy, because I know who I am. I know who I know what my identity is. I know what my culture is. I know what my self-value, my self-worth is. And so because I love myself, I'm going to show that by encouraging others. And this is why a lot of people don't want to hear this, but Chazz, I got to be honest with you.
Okay.
A lot of us are negative because we don't love ourselves. We always have
Mm.
something negative to say. See, we need courses on how do I love myself so that I
Right.
can demonstrate it. Because a
Right.
lot of us, we just, we have so many issues. We can't really enjoy ourselves. We're too busy complaining about everything because we're miserable, as opposed to
Mm.
a person that loves themselves. And that's problematic right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, Hey Nuji fires in here. She says, peace and blessings, fam. Hey Nuji. Sister Barbara fires in here as well. She says, Hotel Brothers, we appreciate her. And Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, positive affirmations to yourself daily. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak positively about yourself on the reflection in the mirror. Absolutely. And that is good. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm a decent looking individual. I have a lot of energy today. I'm going to go out and do this or do that. But see, the thing is, like Brother Ray, we don't like doing that. If it's not 2 or 3, 4, maybe 8 or 9 people telling us these things,
Yeah.
we don't really feel it unless it's more than one telling us that.
And this is an indication that we hate ourselves because we look in that mirror and we don't like what we see because we want to look like somebody else. We don't look like the person that we want to look like. So therefore, we look at ourselves and say, "Look at me. I'm a low down, dirty worm." And
Come
so
on, dog.
this is what we think. You see, we think this because of our self-esteem. And so when you love yourself, you would do what Brother Raymond just suggested. And that is where you look at yourself, you think these things. You say,
Right.
I don't care what no one says about me.
Right.
And it's not a prideful thing. It's something that's needed. Now, let's continue to talk because we have so much information to talk about. And every now and then I said, we're going to start putting in our next broadcast. And you brought this one up. So we're going to just hit on it and keep going. But here it is, Chazz.
Okay. Uh-oh. Next broadcast. Materialism. Oh
Why,
man.
why
Now
did you
that
why did you say that, Chazz? Why did you say that last week that we ought to do something on that?
I mean, as a man that is aware of my surroundings, when I look around in society today, I see, and there's nothing wrong with having things, but brother, all over social media, even in our day-to-day lives, people that you see on the highway and stuff, and they have these certain cars and stuff, and it's like, I think we should have done a broadcast on it because materialism, brother, we think that this stuff makes us, and here's the sad part. If it gets washed away in a flood or it just cuts off and it just explodes or just anything, we go from being really, really high to really,
Yep,
really
yep, yep,
low.
yep,
So
yep,
these
yep.
things make or break us. And that's
Yeah.
why I think we should do a broadcast on it.
Okay, Chaz. So save the rest of it for if we get done with this for next week, because this is your baby, and we definitely want to talk about materialism. So let's continue to talk about when a person loves themselves, they're going to demonstrate something. And here's something that you see when a person truly loves themselves.
Letter F, accepting your flaws and
Ooh.
continuing on strong in your strength. Absolutely. We all have flaws. I have flaws. There's some things that I can always try to work on and become better. But like I said, don't let that beat you down and to make you just go in a hole and not come out. And you got to also practice your strengths. Look
Yeah.
at the things that you're good at. Whatever you are good at, try to strengthen those up as well. And like you said, it's a healthy balance. Don't be so lopsided where you just always criticizing yourself for your flaws. Look at the flaws, try to become better, and on your strength, try to update and tweak those as well.
And that is so true. And see, the problem with all of this is when you truly love yourself, you're going to accept your flaws because you know how you are. You know what you have to do. But when you fool yourself or when you dupe yourself, and when we think that we know everything, when we think we know everything, we don't look at these flaws because we say, I'm perfect. I have no issues. All of my ducks are in a row. And this is why it's important that when we love ourselves, true love will accept who you are, your strengths and the weaknesses, everything we're working on, and everything in between. And so this is a beautiful discourse tonight where we're just telling people when we truly love ourselves, we're going to do some things and they're going to be shown. And this next one is, I know you're going to talk about it, and we have a few comments, but again, tonight we're talking about what does true self-love look like? It looks like accepting your flaws, accepting my flaws, and continuing on in my strength.
Letter G, managing stress and emotions, knowing when
Uh-oh.
to cool down and not to blow a gasket.
Okay.
Absolutely. Everything that happens in our life, especially when they don't go our way or just things in general, it doesn't always provoke a response where you just flying off the handle, a loose cannon, hollering, screaming.
Mm.
Because we see this a lot, like I said, on the highway. I see this a lot. Road rage, people
Yeah, yeah,
honking, using
yeah.
obscenities, things like that. We have to learn to say, you know what, this situation is not as big as I'm making it out to be. So let me calm down a little bit. Let me tone it down a notch and say, you know what, this is not worth getting my blood pressure up because this can really, really stress me out and hurt me in the long run. And like we also have highlighted on here, knowing when to cool down. You may have started off getting ready to holler and scream, but you caught yourself and said, you know what? Let me refrain. Let me
Yeah,
relax.
yeah, that's
I'm not going to
practical.
go to that level tonight.
That is so practical, and it's just so doable because when we truly love ourselves, and I don't care if I sound like a broken record tonight, but I'm saying this over and over again because I don't know if we get it. When we truly love ourselves, true love in its demonstration, it looks like I know how to manage my stress.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I love myself. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
put myself through these things. I know how to manage my emotions. And every now and then we do cross the line, but like you just mentioned, when you love yourself, when I love myself, we can say, uh-oh, I'm almost at that moment. Let me get myself together because this is not me. Instead of
Right.
thinking I'm at
Right.
the point of no return. Once I
Right.
cross that line, I can't go back. This is how we are. And it shows that many of us do not know what true self-love is and how it's demonstrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, I'm ugly, but I make it look good. He's joking. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, I believe demonstrating truth and self love is encouraging myself to accept things as life throws them at me. And I do my best to not allow them to stress me out, compartmentalizing situations. That's absolutely wonderful. She has two comments where she kind of sliced them in half. Like she said, she's not really going to let things that come at her always, take her over the top. And then she's also saying that some of the things that's coming at her, she's going to deal with them accordingly. And that's all you really can do is try to deal with them accordingly. And when things come at you surprisingly, just don't fly off the handle. So that was a wonderful comment. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, a fool knows it all. The wise admit that they don't know. Absolutely. He comes back in again. He says, I ask myself, is this outburst going to benefit my me beyond feeling?
Yeah. So, yeah, Chaz, I guess what we're dealing with again is when we truly love ourselves, we're going to do like the Empress said, and that is we're going to demonstrate our self love by encouraging ourselves. And that's hard to do because,
Yeah.
as you mentioned earlier, and you might have alluded to it, but I'm telling you, we want others to encourage us. See, but
Right.
when others don't say, you look good in that tan suit, you look good in those knickerbockers, you look good. I'm just saying, you look
No,
good
he
with those
didn't.
22. Oh, I'm just saying, you got those 22s on your vehicle. Those 22s are bumping. See, we want people to stroke us, you see.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
say, man, them 22s, that's outdated. So now we got to go out and try to buy something because we don't
Right.
love ourselves to impress people. And it's something about us as a people where we want everyone to love us. We want
Right.
everyone to like us. We don't want to rock the boat. We always want people to think that we're in control when we're really out of control, and that's problematic.
You're absolutely right. Brother Ray Fires back in here. He says, be a good ally to yourself always. Absolutely. You're living with yourself constantly. You have to deal with yourself every day. And like he said, saying good things, looking in the mirror, saying good things about yourself. We have to do these things because if not, you'll start to become depressed. And then that's a
Mm,
whole nother broadcast for another day. Letter H, setting achievable goals and working toward them steadily. Get a calendar, get a notebook, get a notebook and say, you know what? This is my goal. I plan on doing it next month. If I can't do it next month, It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to throw in a towel. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. But I need to extend it to maybe a few more weeks and chip at it, chip at it, chip at it, chip at it. And once you keep chipping at it, eventually, if you have consistency, you'll knock it off. But see, the problem is, brother, is we keep chipping at these things, and sometimes they do take longer than what we expect. And when they take longer, brother, we throw in the towel, we just give up. And that's just something that I will hope we don't do. And like I said, even if it does take you a little bit longer, so what? You have a little bit of time, and quit beating yourself up.
Yeah, when you truly love yourself, and I'm talking about all of us, so I'm using the word you generally. When you truly love yourself, you're going to set achievable goals. See, you know your limit. You're not going to set goals that are so far-fetched that you know you can't do it. And I'm not trying to be smart or funny, and I'm not trying to get on anybody that's obese because I'm big, I'm bigger than I should be. But this is just an example. Sometimes if we set an achievable goal, if we're heavy and we say, I'm going to lose 5 pounds within the next month. Okay, that's doable. But see, we say, I'm going to lose 200 pounds in a week. And when that week comes up, we have not lost those 200 pounds because it didn't take a week to put them on. And now here we are, we're going crazy because we haven't done it. And so that goes back to say, do you really love yourself? Why would you put yourself in that situation or that position? You know that's not achievable, but yet we do these things. And I think that was good what you commented about. Just take it a step at a time, basically. If you love yourself, that's what you would do.
Now, this is a real one. I like this one. Brother Ray says, it's okay to feel depressed sometimes. The lack of daylight depresses me, but knowing why makes it okay. Now, I want to take this real slow.
Okay.
He said that he gets depressed. And let's be honest, every day is not roses. And this is not to come down to Ray. This is honest. We all have depression. We all are facing something. But here's the thing, and this is no knock to Ray. I'm just want to deal with this comment because it's good, because it's something we all need to touch on. Okay. We all do get depressed. But the thing is, don't dwell in it. If you are depressed for a day or two, recognize the situation. Say, you know what? I am depressed. I'm not feeling good. I don't feel like being bothered. I don't feel like going outside. That's okay. But when you dwell and you cut the blinds, you always in a dark apartment or a dark house, not getting out. Don't let that linger. And if you could bring his comment back on there, it was one more part I wanted to touch on, Brother Ray's last comment, if you have it.
Okay.
He was saying the lack of daylight depresses him. Now, this is not rocket science, but I would suggest that Brother Ray, if he has a little bit of extra finances, to make sure that he's getting D3, because the sun is not shining that much in the winter. So I would say D3 is also important. But yeah, I'm glad he brought that up. We all do get depressed, but Brother Ray, don't dwell in it more than a couple of days. So I appreciate that comment.
And at this point, Chazz, I'm going to make we're going to do a detour because, we always try to help people that's doing something positive. And right now, true self-love, it is demonstrated by helping people. Now, here's a sister that's basically a part of what we do every week. Okay. She comments, Sister Barbara, some call her Zuri, Jean, she's got an organization where she feeds the homeless, and she's got a homeless feeding coming up. Okay. And I'm going to play a video that we want people to see because we want people to donate to it. We know that those who are out of state, you can't get a plate sent to you, but the proceeds that we sell these plates for, they're going to help feed the homeless. And I'm sick and tired. So forgive me, Chazz, for coming off like this, but I'm sick and tired of us always saying that we're for the community and we're for people, but we never put our money where our mouth is. So I'm going to show you a video. It has all the information. If you need more information, we're going to give it to you. But everybody just sit back and enjoy this video that's coming up right now. So you see, Chaz, we got to start doing things. Now, we
Yeah.
do broadcasts like Sister Sharon last week. She had a child or a grandchild that was struggling in school, and we promised to be there to help her if she needs us. See, this is what unity is all about. I'm sick, and I can't keep saying this, but we all talk about unity, self-determination, the principles of Kwanzaa, the Nguzo Saba, but we don't like to help people that's doing something positive. And I think everybody that's a part of this broadcast, we don't ask for much. We used to ask for donations, but we don't even ask for donations. You and I, we handle this bill every month. This cost to see us on this, to see all these different fancy things going. We pay for that and we don't even bring it up. But you mean to tell me that we can't cash out a wonderful sister that's feeding the homeless? We can't send $2. We can't do anything like that. And so, Chance, that's what I'm trying to say, man. And I know you have something to say. The homeless, every religion, Christianity, Islam, spirituality, every religion, whether you accept it or not, it talks about how we care for those who are less fortunate. But doggone with us, man, we just don't seem to want to do anything but talk. Well, what I'm gonna do. There's the cash app right there. Yeah. Do royalty, cash out. Send a sister some money, whatever you can, and say, hey, this is for helping what you do. And if you live in San Antonio, you should come out and get you a plate. What do you have to say about that, Chaz?
I had a couple of things. I was going to say that was a marvelous and wonderful presentation. The video, her feeding the people, seeing some of the homeless people cheesing and happy after they got their plates. That was wonderful. And I was just going to say on the side note, here's the thing, okay? We have a negative outlook on the homeless. And yes, some of the homeless do have a drug addiction. Yes, they have an alcohol addiction. But here's the thing. We see them at red lights and we say, excuse me, I'll never give him or her nothing. She ain't going to do nothing to smoke it up. But here's the thing, brother, most of us, let's be honest. Most of us are one paycheck away from being on the street. So how can we sit back and act like we're all that? Because we all know this. All it takes is for our job to lay us off or for us to get in a fatal car crash where we're confined to a wheelchair, and we'll most likely be like them. So we have to give back if we have the extra funds and say, you know what? I hope this brother or sister doesn't do that, but I'm going to give them $3 or $4 for a meal. And back to her presentation, that was well put together. And I hope that it goes smoothly as well. Sister Mashana fires in here. She says, that's wonderful. You go, Den of Royalty. Nuji fires in here. She says, I want 4 plates. Ooh, okay. And Sister Vara fires in here. She says, thank you for sharing, big brother. Okay. And then she's commenting, talking to Nuji in the comments. She says, okay, I got you, sister. Thank you. Okay. And they're just going back and forth in the comments. She's saying she'll pay for plates. So they're going back and forth. There's their little thing. But yeah, hopefully it goes smooth. And like I said, it was a wonderful presentation.
And so, Chaz, at the bottom, as you see, let's get back to the story at hand. We have so much going on, you and I, as far as we have music. That music that you heard is from Cries from the Womb. That's us. So we doing a lot, Chaz, but we're doing it for people. It's not just for ourselves. This is for people. And I'm glad that we're taking our platform and not being stingy. We had Brother Ray on here, and I'm sure pretty soon he's going to come back. We gave him a whole hour. He's in Indiana. He got a chance to talk about what was on his heart. With Sister Supreme Lioness. She's been on here before. So we give it, our platform is for everyone because we want to all make it. But unfortunately, many of us don't want to sacrifice and do what's right. So getting back to the story, true self-love in this demonstration, that's what the sister did. She's doing that. She's not talking about feeding the homeless. She's doing it. And so now when we have true self-love and it's demonstrated, this is what we're going to do. And this is exactly what she just did.
Showing care for your community and people. Absolutely.
Let me have this one, Chaz, please. I know you normally jump in on these because you read them, but I know you produce this show. I'm a director of this show, but I gotta have this one.
Okay.
Chaz, people keep talking about demonstrating love. But when you show care for your community, because you know our community is in shambles, our community is hit. All the things that's going on in our community. And you mean to tell me you can't show care for these people? You can't show love for these people? the love that we have is not demonstrated, we don't sacrifice, you are a hypocrite, you are a liar, you are cheat if you're not interested in doing something by way of showing love. And I don't care if people don't like this broadcast because I'm always talking and you always talking. But at some point in time in our lives, Chazz, we've got to stop roller skating and start telling the truth. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of us are full of hot air and we don't want to do anything. We don't want to do anything to show love. And if someone wants us to get involved, you and I, all they have to do is email us and we will do something. We help other organizations too. It's not just about adults only. It's not just about Liberation Center. It's not just about Liberation Academy. It's not just about Den of Royalty. It's about all of us looking at what can I do, Chazz, to make a change in people's lives. That's when you show true self-love, not sitting on the couch eating donuts, just acting crazy. This is what I'm trying to say, man.
Hey, you crazy. It says Ray Fires, brother Ray Fires in here. She says, share this post and help them get more exposure and possibly more donations.
We will do that. In fact, I think we got a PayPal account, GoFundMe, all that's coming up in the next few days. So thank you for that, Ray. And we appreciate you sharing it in the Midwest. And see, this is what it's all about. That's what unity is about. Because Ray knows people. He can vouch to tell people. There's a sister that's on a podcast that I'm a part of, and she's feeding the homeless. So this is how we get out and we do things like that.
Sister Barbara Foster, she says, Ray Coleman, it was just released, but certainly. Okay. They're going at it in the comments. Brother Ray fires back. He says, laugh all out. The producer and the director, as well, announcers and spouses. Yeah, wearing plenty hats.
We do it all because why? True self-love is demonstrated by doing something. And that's why we do what we do. And again, we don't apologize for it. But once again, we make sure that when we show our love and we demonstrate it, we do things like this.
Letter J, sharing with others in a positive way. And when I say sharing, it's not always because we have a misconception of sharing and getting something back. No, sometimes it's just sharing, knowing that you probably won't, but doing it in a joyful way. Knowing that you're helping others and maybe they're less fortunate at that moment. And so, you know what? I'm not expecting anything back, but so what? I'll give this to that individual and I'm not expecting anything. And that's what it's supposed to be because we always want some. Here's the thing, and I'll pass it. We always intend to get something back. And 90% of the time, even if they tell us, yeah, I'm going to do this because you gave me that, don't expect it because they're probably not going to give it back anyway and be fine with that.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, Chazz, when we love ourselves, we don't care whether we get it back or not because we are good with who we are. We take L's all the time. All of our lives, we've taken L's. But when we love ourselves, when we demonstrate that, that's not important. What's important is that we share with others in a positive way. And so all of us have these issues. All of us have these problems. But this broadcast tonight is about true self-love. When you love yourself, when I love myself, we're going to demonstrate that. We're not going to flap our gums like most of us do. We're not going to stay on social media, never being involved in something positive. We all should be a part of something that's going to help move the needle. Do you see the condition of the African American in the United States of America? Then why in the you know what are you not watching broadcasts and podcasts like this that's talking about loving ourselves and loving the community and loving our people? Why can't we have these types of discussions? Because we're too busy looking at that crap that's on social media. We're too busy trying to find a man, trying to find a woman, trying to get a house, trying to get a car, trying to eat some food, trying to smoke some dope, trying to drink some beer, trying to make people think we know everything. When are we going to stop this nonsense, Chazz, and start saying when we love ourselves, then we're going to do some things? And here's one of the main things that I think we must talk about when we show that we are demonstrating self-love.
Letter K, self-love demonstrated, pursues joy, things that are meaningful and make you happy. And the joys that make certain people happy, which can be simple as far as some, like for myself, exercise. There could be some for others that could like to just sit back and maybe watch cooking shows, things that are joyful and that don't involve self-harm or violence or drugs. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not knocking people who do these things like drugs and stuff. That's what you do. That's what you do. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying we have to get back to the simple things that are pure and
Mhm.
not always in the negativity. Pursuing joy can be hard at times, especially with all the things coming at us with life. But it's important that we do pursue it in a happy manner.
Yeah, Chaz, and I agree with you because when we love ourselves, we're going to pursue joy. Now, listen to this, Chaz. Listen to this. Our children and our grandchildren, a lot of them are miserable. You know why? They're miserable because they never see us pursuing those things that we like. They see us pursuing things that make us sad. They see us pursuing things that make us antagonistic. They see us pursuing things that make us worried. They see us pursuing things that stress us out. When a person truly loves themselves, a demonstration of true self-love is you're going to do things that make you happy. I'm going to do things that make me happy, things that are positive. And each person has something different. And this is why we're in a sad state today. We're in a sad state as a people because many of us don't have anything that we're doing that's making us happy. I'm not talking about no man. I'm not talking about no woman. I'm talking about the self-love, Chaz, that comes from within, you see. And our kids are struggling because they don't see this. Our
Right.
grandkids are struggling because they don't see the joy. They don't see us every day, as Brother Ray said, saying positive things to them. How you doing, young lady? Hope you have a good day today. Uncle, auntie, mommy, daddy, grandparent, we love you. You're the joy of my life. I can't wait to see you. See, that's what it is all about, Chaz. Going to a building and swinging from a chandelier, foaming at the mouth, that's not where it's at. Talking about the nature rule and all those principles that make us feel good. Okay, that's not where it's all at. Going to a place saying magical words to make people think you're all that when we're really struggling. We've got to be serious, Chaz, and we've got to be honest, Chaz, and we have to do what we need to do when it comes to showing love and demonstrating that love.
Absolutely. Sister Nikita fires in here. She says, "Hello, family." Hey, Sister Nikita. Sister Mashonda says she'll donate. She's talking about the dinner royalty, feeding the homeless. And then Brother Ray fires back in there. He says, "Make people smile more. Don't always be a dark cloud." Absolutely. And I said this earlier. Like I said, it's a joke. Well, not really a joke, but we always tease people when they do get their little haircuts in. When they do that, man, I'm telling you, man, these young
Compliment.
men, they bright up. And it's sad. I wouldn't say it's sad. I'm saying it's sad from the state of in society where most people are so shut off. They're not talking. They're not communicating, and so on, things like that. Help lift brothers' souls, make them more upbeat. But yeah, like you said, and I will also say too, brother, like you were saying about pursuing joy. I think it's important, especially if we have kids in the house or relatives. You have to install that in them young because the older they get, if they see the opposite,
Yeah.
fighting,
Yeah.
fussing, dishes being thrown, that's not going to put a good imprint on them. So I would suggest installing this in them at a young age. In fact, as early as possible.
And Kirk Franklin has a song that's it's old, but I like it because it talks about just smiling. Something as simple as smiling.
I remember that.
And Kirk Franklin has a song that's talking about smiling, and that does wonders. Most of us, we don't enjoy ourselves. That's why we look like bullfrogs all the time. That's why we're sad. That's why we look like toads. That's why we get up on the wrong side of the bed because there's no joy in our heart. We've tried everything. We've tried everything you can imagine, and nothing works. So what you end up with is a person who doesn't know how to demonstrate self-love. Sports ain't gonna get it. Music ain't gonna get it. Family ain't gonna get it. It comes from the heart. And these are the discussions that most people should have, but the black man and the black woman, not all of them. Many of us don't want to hear this because you're not cursing. I'm not cursing. We don't have naked ladies on the broadcast. We don't have people fighting. We don't have brothers fighting and people getting caught. This is the appetite that we like. And therefore, we can't have a discussion about self-love because people don't want to hear it. They want to pop in and pop out. They don't want to be committed, you see. They don't want to be committed to the homeless. They don't want to be committed to children. They don't want to be committed to themselves. They want to do what they want to do. And this is a problem that we have today.
Absolutely. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, "Teeps" with the exclamation. Brother Ray fires back. He says, "Have a strong mind and a light heart. You absolutely do. You got to have a strong mind because this world is trying to constantly tear you apart. It's so many things coming at us, and it's so easy for us to be fragile and just, go in a little cave and not come out. You have to have a strong mind. And like he said at the end, a light heart. Even though when things are coming at you, still have a good heart, not letting this world jade you or make you become a villain or anything like that. So I appreciate Brother Ray. Sister Barbara, she's talking to Mashonda in the comment section. Brother Darrow's in the building. He fires in here. He says, "Give not to get back, but to show love and concern." Absolutely. He stole the words out of my mouth. I said that a couple minutes ago, basically saying, you know what? I'm not expecting anything back. If I don't get anything back, so be it. But I'm going to give to these people or this individual because I feel like he can benefit from this. And I don't care if I get anything back.
There used to be a song, and this brother hit it right on the head too. There used to be a song when I was growing up, and it was an old song that said, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love." Now I'm going to rephrase that and give you my version. What the world needs now is to demonstrate love, you see, because we don't demonstrate it. We don't demonstrate it to our children. We don't demonstrate it to ourselves. We don't demonstrate it to our families. We don't demonstrate it at all. And so we try to make people think that we're just in love with ourselves, but we're not, because we don't know ourselves. We don't take the time out to watch broadcasts like this every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time to say, I know those brothers going to give some practical truths that's going to help me and help them. And all of my comments that we're saying, all this is a part of building up. See, we don't like this kind of stuff. We want someone to be on here telling us what to do, making us think they know everything, making you think they have all the answers when we're talking about self-love. How do you demonstrate that? They going off on this bullfrog thing, I see.
Yeah, Brother Ray and Sister Barbara is laughing at the bullfrog. And then he also chimes in, Brother Ray fires in here and says, I'm at the age 64 since this January 7th. Wow, Brother Ray, that's good. You still around?
And you know what? See, this is what I want to say to Brother Ray, and I love the brother because I know the brother, but this is what I want to say. I want to say true self-love is demonstrated. Here's the thing, especially, Chazz. Now hear me, I'm going to slow it down. True self-love is demonstrated, especially, Chazz, when you know time is running out. Yeah. See, when you know time is running out, it's at that time that you should be more loving. You see, you should demonstrate love, but we get meaner. See, we know the time is coming, and we're afraid. See, and so now we're mean. We're meaner as a rattlesnake. So therefore, we're angry because the time has come. You see, and instead of saying, you know what, I knew it was going to come. I've had a great life. I'm gonna live my last life in my golden years. I'm going to live my last life showing love, demonstrating love. See, most older people, instead of doing what we're doing now, when they get older, what we do is we retire and we don't want to be seen. We want to shut ourselves up and don't want to do anything. That's not the way it should be. It's the older people that should be demonstrating to the younger people. Now that we're old, watch mama work, watch daddy work. But all we want to do is sit around, pop pills, watch soap operas, drink beer, and so self-love, Chazz, is very difficult. I think we're at a good stopping point.
Okay.
I think we should come back next week and finish up because we still have some notes that we haven't touched on that talks about what does true self-love look like. Everybody that's watching this broadcast, you ought to tear your phone up to be at this broadcast next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Why? Because Chazz and I are going to continue to talk about what self-love looks like. Okay, because that's important.
Let me stop real quick. I'm confused. I thought earlier you said it was materialism. So are you?
Yeah, but we're not done with this, Chazz. We're not done with this one, Chazz. No, we're not done with this. We are not done with this, and so we're going to continue until we get done with it because a lot of people need to know more about this. We have people that's watching this broadcast who may say to themselves, "I really don't know how to love myself, so I can't demonstrate it." So you can use all the Bible verses you want. I can use all the spiritual commands I know. Love thy neighbor as thyself. If we don't know how to love ourselves, we cannot love our neighbors. You see, we cannot love our children. We cannot love our family. But when we truly love ourselves, that's not just verbal, it's demonstrated. And that's where we need to talk about more. For those who are watching this broadcast, we definitely love you. And we demonstrate this every week by talking about subjects that some people don't want to talk about this, Chazz. They don't know how to talk about love. Wouldn't you agree to that?
Yeah, some don't. And in fact, some have a twisted concept of love. Some, and I've heard this a lot growing up, they say love is not, actually shown by loving each other. Love is shown by fighting or, tearing people's cars and stuff up. So I think some of us, like you said earlier, brother, have the wrong concept of love. And for those who don't know what love is, no knock to you, no shame. It's just sad that that's what this society has come to where we're twisting things that's supposed to be positive and we're twisting it for evil now. So, but
yes, after all these years that we've been on this earth, you mean, and I agree with you because some of us still struggling. After all, now the younger children in their teens and 20s, maybe 30s, I could see them saying, I'm still on my journey. I'm still trying to figure it out. But us old stogies, us old heads, you mean to tell me we've been on this earth for 50, 60, 70, 80 years and we don't know what love is? That means we have wasted our lives because now we're trying to find something that is elusive as opposed to showing these young kids, hey, just look at me and I'm going to show you what love is. And so this is why I think we need to continue to have this discussion to continue to teach our brothers and sisters, man, because most of us just still struggling and we need to talk about this.
Absolutely. Well said. Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, I'm a fighter and a lover. Okay. Sister Barbara says, look within.
And then when you look within, let's finish that up. And I love what she says. She says, look within. And I'm going to say something to add to that. Look within and then do something about it. Don't just look within and then do something about what we see.
And Brother Ray Fires back in here. He says, right. Can't give what you don't have. Okay. Also said nothing like an old fool.
so Chazz, you see, our people that watch Adults Only, we have fun on this broadcast, but that's why we call it Adults Only. It's for children, it's for young adults, but it's for us older people because we are adults and we are the ones that should be leading in every facet of life. We should not be sitting around picking our nose, telling the young kids to go out on the battlefield. Chazz, because of our lives, we should be the ones demonstrating all of this because we've been there and done that. But see, we have this idea that when we get to a certain age, we want to sit up on the shelf and let the youth take over. And it's a time and place for everything. But I've never seen a culture, and that's what's wrong with us. The older generation, we don't want to get serious about anything but a soap opera or a football, basketball, baseball, or a concert or a movie or a comedian. See, we're excited about that. We're not excited about talking about love, man. Nothing about love.
Yeah. Brother Daryl Fires in here. He says mean and surly.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, Chazz, because we normally talk before we get off, and I'm going to stop the scroll from scrolling right now. And I think what I need to do is show once again that video that we showed of a beautiful sister who's feeding the homeless, and she's asking for your help. She's asking for my help. She's asking for everyone's help. When the video goes off, Chazz, we'll conclude and we'll get out of here. But we just want people to know this is what true love demonstrated. This is what it looks like, Chazz. It looks like this right here. Now, see, Chazz, that brought me to tears while I was watching that. And guess
Come
what?
on,
Guess
brother.
what? No, guess what? It really did. It brought me to tears, but it brought me to tears in that I'm not just going to cry. I'm going to take my money and I'm going to support this sister. See, it's often times where we always talk about what things do to us, but we're not willing to back. Here's a person who's feeding those who are on the streets. That could be you and I, Chazz. That could be anyone. And we don't have a heart to say, I'm going to be involved in something like that. Chazz, there's something wrong with us when we don't participate in that which is very, very positive when we're talking about showing this love. Now, and I know you would agree with that. You know, we can't just talk about how things bring us to tears, but do something about it. Okay, after we get through crying, what are we going to do? We're going to support this by sending this to her Cash App. Those who are out of state, you're not going to be able to get a plate sent to you, but you can say, hey, here's what I can afford. Cash App, DOROLYALTY. That's again, Cash App, capital DOROYALTY. It stands for Den of Royalty. For those who are out of state, you're going to get more information that we're going to upload on social media so we can see. We want to make sure that people in San Antonio, Texas, we want to make sure that those people, at least we can give them a meal instead of talking about what we want to do.
Absolutely. Well said. Sister Mashana Fazier says, "Get y'all 5-year plate."
She's tripping, Chazz. So, Chazz, this has been a wonderful discussion, and I'm glad we had this discussion. I hope people will tune in again next week because this is very important, and I just don't know if everyone is serious about all the things we say, but I guess we really have to be honest about it, Chazz.
Yeah.
We have to be honest about what a demonstration of self-love looks like. We're serious about this. The children are struggling. Many of us are struggling because we never demonstrated. We talk about it. We pray about it. We sing about it. We argue about it, but we don't display it. And so I'm saying, Chazz, we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and do something about it. In the areas that we're weak in, we've got to start showing that. We've got to start helping people. That's what it's all about. I don't have too much more to say. I have a couple of comments we're going to put up. I'm going to go off, and I'll let them hear our new outro. They heard our intro, but they'll hear our new outro. All the music that you hear is comprised from the womb. It's from Chazz and I. We're working on our 3rd album, if you don't know that by now. We got videos. We've done some of everything, but we're giving back to the community. So once again, Chazz, I think it's important that we talk about the importance of showing self-love, not just talking about it.
Absolutely. This was Sister Henrietta Jones. She says most people are scared to participate in anything. She's right. Sister Shonda Fires in here. She says Shimotep Brothers. Okay. Brother Daryl has, I guess, an error, made a mistake. But yeah, tonight was a good broadcast about self-love, some of the practical tips, some of the things that we face on a daily basis, such as delayed certifications that we may be trying to get, or sometimes things just not planning out how we want them to go. Depression, so many things that's all wrapped into one with this self-love, and it's important. Tell ourselves positive things. Nobody's going to tell you these things. If you're constantly searching and constantly looking, 9 times out of 10, nobody's not going to do it for you. You got to do it yourself. You got to tell yourself that you're a hardworking man or woman. You got to tell yourself that you're an average, decent-looking person. You got to tell yourself these things because, once again, constantly sitting back, waiting, hoping that somebody at the grocery store tells you these things, they're probably not, and you have to be okay with that because that's just where society is. That's all I got for tonight. I appreciate you for having me on, brother.